The scariest thing about a mirror is not that something might appear behind you. It is that one day you might look into it and feel nothing. No recognition, no warmth, no private little spark that says, "That is me." Just a face, skin stretched over bone, eyes wet with light, a mouth waiting for instructions, a stranger wearing your life. And the worst part is how quiet it feels. There is no monster in the room, no hand on your shoulder, no voice whispering your name, just you, standing alone under cheap bathroom light, staring at the one person you are supposed to know better than anyone, and realizing you only recognize the surface. You know the shape of the face, you know the scars, you know where the tiredness sits, you know which side of the mouth lifts first when you fake a smile. But suddenly, that knowledge feels useless, because the thing in the glass is copying you perfectly, too perfectly. It blinks when you blink. It breathes when you breathe. It raises its hand when you raise yours. But perfection does not make it comforting. Perfection makes it feel accused, as if the reflection is saying, "I can do everything you do. I can wear your face. I can perform your life." So what exactly makes you real? That is the wound mirrors touch. Not vanity, not superstition, not childish fear. The deeper fear is that the self is fragile, that you are not a soul glowing safely inside a body. You are a pattern, a habit, a story your brain repeats every morning so you do not fall apart. And sometimes in the wrong light, the story stops working. For 1 second, your own eyes look back like they belong to someone else. For 1 second, your face becomes evidence against you. For 1 second, the mirror does not show a ghost. It shows something worse. It shows how easy it would be for you to become a stranger to yourself. Mirrors are terrifying because they do not feel like objects. They feel like witnesses. They remember every version of you, even though they keep no memory. The child brushing teeth before school, the teenager studying a face they hated, the adult checking if grief is visible, the exhausted person at 2 a.m. leaning over the sink, wondering why their eyes look older than their life feels. A mirror is where people go to confirm they still exist. And that is why it can hurt so much, because confirmation can fail. The reflection can be accurate and still feel wrong. It can show the truth and still feel like betrayal. Human beings have always known this. Long before modern psychology, mirrors were treated like dangerous thresholds. People covered them after death. They feared souls trapped in glass. They used them for divination, curses, spirit contact, warnings. In folklore, the mirror was never just decoration. It was a door with no handle, a second world pressed flat against ours, a silent place where another version of you waits, perfectly obedient, until imagination asks the fatal question, what if it stops obeying? Most horror begins with being watched by something else. Mirror horror begins with being watched by yourself. That sounds smaller. It is not. There is a reason people avoid mirrors when they cry. There is a reason grief feels worse when you accidentally see your own face wearing it. There is a reason shame gets sharper in reflective glass. Pain is one thing when you feel it from the inside. It becomes something else when you see it from outside. The mirror turns you into evidence. It takes private suffering and makes it visible. Your fear becomes posture. Your exhaustion becomes skin. Your insecurity becomes expression. Your age becomes fact. You can lie to other people. You can perform confidence. You can say you are fine. But the mirror does not comfort you. It does not argue. It does not forgive. It gives the surface back with brutal calm. And sometimes the surface says things you are not ready to know. This is why the bathroom mirror is such a perfect horror image. Bathrooms are where the performance drops. No audience, no costume, no curated angle. Just fluorescent light, water, skin, silence, and the body you have been dragging through the world. In that moment, the mirror becomes intimate enough to be cruel. It does not reveal a demon. It reveals that you are visible. And to be visible is to be vulnerable. We want to believe our face belongs to us. But the face is also the thing other people own. They recognize it before we do. They judge it when we cannot see it. They remember versions of it we have lost. Your face is the public mask of a private life. That is why mirrors feel unstable. They force the private self to meet the public object inside. You feel like thoughts, memories, wounds, desires, regrets. Outside, you are cheekbones, eyelids, hair, skin, asymmetry, tiredness. The gap between those two things can be unbearable. You may feel young and see age, feel broken and see someone composed, feel empty and see a face still performing life convincingly. This disconnect is not rare. It is human. The self is invisible to everyone, except the person living it. The face is visible to everyone, except the person wearing it. A mirror is where those two facts collide, and collision creates dread, because if your reflection can look like you without feeling like you, then maybe identity is not as solid as it pretends to be. Maybe me is not a thing. Maybe it is a negotiation, a fragile agreement between memory, body, language, and recognition. And if recognition breaks, even for a second, the whole agreement trembles. There is a known effect that can happen when you stare at your face in dim light for too long. The reflection begins to mutate, not dramatically at first. A shadow thickens around the eyes. The mouth seems unfamiliar. The skin becomes masked. Like the face may seem older, dead, animal, distorted, or not yours at all. People describe seeing strangers, relatives, monsters, the dead. But the horror is not that the mirror contains something supernatural. The horror is that the brain can fail this easily. Perception is not a recording. It is construction. Your mind is constantly stabilizing reality, filling gaps, smoothing movement, naming shapes, deciding what matters. Your own face is not exempt. You recognize yourself because the brain keeps succeeding at recognition. When it stops succeeding, the self does not feel mystical. It feels mechanical, like a machine that has been maintaining the illusion of you all along. This is why mirror staring feels so personal. A distorted hallway is creepy. A distorted doll is creepy. A distorted face in the glass is invasive. But your own distorted face is a violation. It feels like the deepest lock in your mind has clicked open. And behind it is not madness in a dramatic movie sense. It is something quieter. The possibility that the self is editable, that the thing you call I can flicker, that your own face can become unfamiliar while you are still alive behind it. The reflection is frightening because it is an imposter that never makes mistakes. It does not need to chase you. It has your face already. It does not need to speak. It has your expressions. It does not need to break in. It lives in every reflective surface you trust. Glass doors, dark windows, phone screens, elevators, televisions turned off at night. A mirror is not scary because it might show something different. It is scary because it shows something almost identical. Almost is where horror lives. A face that is completely alien can be rejected. A face that is almost yours has to be understood. Why does it look like me? Why does it know how I move? Why does it stare back with my eyes? The doppelganger appears in folklore because humans fear replacement. Not death. Exactly. Replace the idea that the world could continue with a copy of you, and maybe no one would notice quickly enough. Someone else could wear your smile, answer to your name, sleep beside the people you love, inherit your place. And the unbearable question is not whether the copy is evil. It is whether the copy is convincing. Mirrors make this fear daily. They let you rehearse being replaced by yourself. Mirrors have always been tied to death because they show the body without mercy, not the self. The body, the thing time can damage, the thing illness can hollow, the thing grief can bend, the thing that will one day remain when you are gone. This is why seeing yourself after crying feels so brutal. The pain becomes physical proof. This is why seeing yourself age can feel like being haunted by the future. The mirror shows not only what you are, but what you are becoming. Every glance is a small encounter with disappearance. A child disappears into an adolescent. An adolescent disappears into an adult. An adult disappears into an older face they did not consent to. Nothing dramatic happens. No monster attacks. You only keep meeting new versions of yourself and pretending the continuity is obvious. But it is not obvious. It is terrifying. The mirror asks you to believe that all these faces were one person, the child, the ashamed teenager, the exhausted adult, the future body, the corpse, all connected by a name. That is a lot of faith to place in glass. The old mirror was cruel, but at least it ended when you walked away. The modern mirror follows you. Front cameras, selfies, video calls, security footage, tagged photos, filters, profiles, archives, screenshots. Now, the reflection is not trapped in one room. It multiplies. There are versions of you online that you no longer feel connected to. Faces from years ago still smiling. Bad photos frozen in other people's phones. Filtered faces that look more acceptable than your real one. Recorded versions of your voice. Paused frames where your expression looks uglier, colder, stranger than you felt inside. The digital mirror has turned identity into evidence that never fully disappears. And that creates a new kind of dread. What if the world knows your image better than it knows you? What if the archive of you becomes stronger than the living person? What if people love, hate, desire, judge, or remember a version of you that does not exist anymore? The mirror used to threaten the soul. The screen threatens continuity. It asks not who are you. It asks which version of you should survive. We keep looking because terror and reassurance are fused together. Every mirror check is a small prayer. Am I still here? Do I still look like myself? Can I go outside like this? Can people see what I am hiding? Has the night changed me? Has grief marked me? Has time taken something while I was not paying attention? The mirror answers, but never kindly. It gives information, not mercy. So we return again and again, trapped between wanting truth and fearing what truth looks like. This is why mirrors feel so disturbing. They are not haunted because ghosts live inside them. They are haunted because we do. Every fear we have about being seen, aging, changing, losing ourselves, being replaced, being judged, being unreal. All of it gathers in that flat piece of glass, and then it waits for us to stand close enough. The mirror is not dangerous because it lies. It is dangerous because it tells a truth too shallow to hold the soul. It shows the body, but not the person. It shows the face, but not the life behind it. It shows the eyes, but not the one looking through them. And sometimes that gap becomes unbearable, because if the mirror cannot prove you are you, what can? Memory can fail. Names can change. Bodies age. Faces distort. People misremember us. Images outlive us. Even the private feeling of self can flicker in bad light. So the next time you stand alone in front of a mirror at night, do not ask whether something is behind you. That is the easy fear. Ask why the thing in front of you feels so close to being human and still not completely safe. Ask why your own eyes can look back like a stranger's. Ask why silence gets heavier when the reflection is still. And if for 1 second your face seems to hesitate before you do not scream. The scream would